Hello, my name is Rachel Porter. I'm a PDP major at UNF. This is my senior portfolio presentation. Thank you for tuning in, and let's get started. When it comes to my work, I'm inspired by a variety of different things. Human experience is one of those things. Nature is another. Nature affects my mental health positively, and travel and spirituality are other inspirations for me. Music is also a very big inspiration for me. These two songs in particular deal with mental health. And this third picture right here is just me with one of my favorite artists after a music show I went to. I'm using previous works from Figure Drawing 1 and 2 to help guide me and inspire me with my new body of work. Revisiting these works helps me figure out the placement, intentional cropping, and using multiple figures on one surface. Mental health is the biggest inspiration for my new body of work, but I'm also interested in the loss of innocence, and this piece, Roadkill, is about the mistreatment of animals in factory farms, which goes along with losing innocence and realizing that there's evil in the world. So a little bit about me. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida. I did move around a little bit when I was younger, and I went to a private school when I was in kindergarten and first grade. And there's where I learned that I craved to do more, because at a very young age I had to learn sign language and Spanish, and that translates into my work because I like to experiment with different mediums and try new things and combine different mediums. I've always had a passion to create in some form. So on the left-hand side is a bunch of dream catchers that I used to make in middle school and high school, and I would sell them at the Jax Beach Art Walk whenever I could or whenever I had time to. This middle photo is a print that I created when I took an intro to photography class, and I just found it so intriguing and really fun with how you take the picture and then you have to develop the film and seeing how it comes out. I am and have always been a shy type of person, and I used to be very afraid to use my voice for how I felt. And although I'm not as scared now, I still enjoy and have always enjoyed using art to tell my story. Some themes and concepts I use in my work are anguish, isolation, derealization, symbolism, and passage of time and nostalgia. And these particular intaglio prints that I created in the fall were some of the last pieces of work that I created before creating this new body of work, so they helped inspire these new ideas that I'm working on. Once Was But Now Forgotten is another intaglio on Plexi that I created. It focuses on loneliness, time passing, and how nothing lasts forever, but memories and even over time memories can fade. These three pieces here are part of my previous works, but they inspire my newer body of work heavily. Help Me is just about anxiety and its crippling effects. Lifeblood is about everything that's helped form me as a person, and then this right-hand photo shows my piece Depersonalization that was in I believe it was the 2019 student show. These next pieces that I'm going to show don't deal with mental health, but they do focus on symbolism, which I was using in a lot of my previous work. Deadly Nightshade deals with the deception of beauty, and some of my other projects go along with this idea as well. These screen prints are named Deception, and they are similar to the Deadly Nightshade prints in that they focus on symbolism. So again, foxgloves are beautiful flowers, but when they die, they actually look like skulls, so they represent the deception of beauty. Through Anguish Comes Strength focuses on the recent death of loved ones, but also the general darkness the human mind can endure during tough times. And the symbol in this one has to do with the candle and its light and how the light symbolizes a shimmer of hope. When looking through all of my past work from over the years, I realized that mental health is something that I like to focus on and is very important to me. So although this piece was not created for the senior portfolio project, it was created for my figurative painting class, and it still has the same idea of mental health and anguish that I'm focusing on now. So again, for this new body of work, I am using the project to highlight the various coping mechanisms that different people have when dealing with depression and anxiety, and I'm choosing to focus on the positive coping mechanisms rather than the negative ones. And I'm also using this project to open up a positive conversation around mental health. English number 4 is actually a portrait of my sister, and something that helps her deal with her depression is confiding in family, so I show myself kissing her on the cheek. And English number 5, something that helps her deal with her depression and anxiety is being outside and hiking, and I included a note from one of her particular hikes, which was in Ralston Peak, and she went alone and she hiked almost 10,000 feet up, which was a great accomplishment for her. English number 2 is one of the first pieces that I created in this body of work, and I was really figuring out what I wanted to add or how I wanted to tie all these pieces together to help them look like a body of work, one cohesive body of work. So that's when I decided I didn't want just one figure, I needed different perspectives to show what I wanted to show, which was someone feeling anguish, but also how they're dealing with it. So in the center, or in the left-hand side, is me looking overwhelmed, and in the center is me reading, or just doing work. Something that helps me personally is keeping myself busy, so doing homework or being outside, walking my dog, just always keeping myself busy is something that helps me personally with dealing with the anxiety and overwhelming feelings that I have. Anguish number 1 was again one of the first pieces that I created in this new body of work, so I was still figuring out the placement and what I wanted to add in my work. So in later works in this new body of work, you will see me experiment more with stenciling and paint and mixing paint with the graphite. As far as my process goes, I first find the subject for my work and I discuss with them their personal ways of dealing with depression and anxiety, and then they send me reference photos or I find photos that I can work from through things like Instagram, and then I take the various images and plan out where I want them to be on the paper. My next steps include drawing the figures, adding paint and collage aspects, and then I end up cleaning everything up with white paint or gesso and adding finishing touches such as more stenciling. I've been using a couple outside sources to help guide me with this new body of work. Leslie Dill and Kiki Smith in particular use the figure as well as words with the figure, which is inspiring my work. And then this article on Artsy and Tate are helping me make the words in my work more powerful and helping me figure out how to draw the figure more accurately. My body of work is still a work in progress, so this is all that I have to show for now. However, I would like to thank my committee members, Professor Shayla and Amy, for their advice and help along the way, and I would like to thank you for listening as well.